A lot of you have been asking me about whether it's a good thing for you to buy or just rent a property here in the Philippines. Okay, so everyone, as a local Filipina myself, I do really understand that the real estate market here poses a unique challenges for foreigners out there who are actually looking to invest a property here in the Philippines. So for today's video, guys, we will dive into the pros and cons of renting versus buying property here in the Philippines. As sad as it may sound, owning land or properties here for foreigners is legally not allowed. And unfortunately, the only way for you to own a property is to either put it into someone's name, it could be under your spouse's name, or through a corporation's name. So, should you really rent or buy specifically a condo here in the Philippines? And why condo style? Well, as a foreigner, that's the only property type that you are legally allowed to own here in the Philippines. On the other hand, jumping into a property purchase without really understanding the lay of the land can be risky, and we do not want your money to go to waste, right? So again, the biggest question is, should you rent or buy a property here in the Philippines? Okay, so guys, first of all, if you haven't spent a significant amount of time living here, then, let's just say 6 months to a year, my strong advice for you guys is to just only rent because you really need to get a feel first for the country, the neighborhoods, and the lifestyle prior making such a big commitment and investment. So when I say get a feel, what I meant by that is that exploring the ins and outs of different areas. For instance, try living at different parts of the city through Airbnb. Maybe you can spend at least a couple of weeks in BGC or what we call Bonifacio Global City, and then spend another 2 weeks in Makati City, and then if you want, you can spend another 2 weeks in Cebu. And yes, this will give you a genuine sense of what it's really like in various places. Plus, you will start to notice the little things. Like, for example, you can ask yourself how close is the nearest grocery store? How reliable is the Wi Fi or the internet connection? And what's the vibe in the building? Are the staffs and the neighborhood polite and safe for me? So yes, you can ask questions to yourself for that. So on the other hand, there are actually tourists who come to the Philippines to just really enjoy the holiday, and they typically stay in the hotels or in the motels. So if you are someone who does this kind of thing or considering a longer stay or even retiring here in the Philippines, then yes, booking an Airbnb will definitely get you a taste of what does a real life looks like in a condo, which is a very crucial step before deciding whether to buy or not. So renting a condominium or property here in the Philippines has its up and downs as well. So let me lay down some of the pros and cons of renting. So now let's talk about the pros of renting. First one is flexibility and mobility. Okay, so renting actually allows you to pick up and move to a different location without being tied down. And this is actually perfect if you are still trying to explore which area or city that really suits you the best. And again, as what I've said earlier, that you need to get a feel first in the place. Second one is lower upfront cost. So unlike buying, renting typically requires just a security deposit and a few months rent upfront, making it less financially demanding for you. And this also means that there is no large financial risk, which basically means that you can actually avoid the risk that is associated with property value fluctuations and the cost of property ownership like taxes and maintenance. So next one is less responsibility for maintenance. Okay, so in most rental agreements, the landlord is actually responsible for fixing any issues with the property from plumbing to electrical problems. So that basically means that you can actually enjoy the amenities of the building or the condo without the headache of managing or maintaining them. Next one is no need for large money transfers. Okay, so paying rent doesn't really require a moving large sums of money internationally, which can be complicated and subject to regulations. And you can also avoid money laundering concerns because transferring large amounts for a property purchase can sometimes trigger anti-money laundering checks, which is a hassle that you definitely want to avoid when renting. So now, how about the cons? Okay, let's talk about the cons of renting condo here in the Philippines. Number one would be limited personalization. Okay, so obviously you generally cannot make any significant changes or renovations to a rented property, and you must really adhere to the landlord's rules regarding decor and usage. And also, you might have to compromise on the interior design and furnishings, which are usually chosen by the landlord and approved by the landlord only. So the next one is lease constraints. Okay, so renting means that you are tied to the terms of the lease, which can include restrictions on pets, subletting, and sometimes even the number of guests. So your rent could also increase when you renew your lease, especially in popular areas where demand is high. So next one is lack of long-term investment. Alright, so renting means that your monthly payments do not actually contribute to building equity or ownership. So basically, that means that you are paying only for the right to live in that space without actually really owning that place. You cannot also expect an ROI or return of investment. Unlike buying, where you might see an appreciation in property value, and then while renting doesn't really offer a financial returns. Next one is dependence on landlord. So if you are renting, guys, you are only reliant on your landlord for timely repairs and property management. So unfortunately, if they are unresponsive or unreliable, it can impact your living experience. And also, if the landlord decides to sell the property or not renew your lease, then unfortunately, you might have to move unexpectedly. Next one is potential for inconvenient changes. Alright, so landlords can actually decide not to renew your lease or sell the property if he wants or she wants to, which can actually disrupt your plans and force you to find a new place. And you know what? Market conditions can lead to significant changes in rent, especially in high demand areas, making your cost of living less predictable. The next one is access to amenities. Alright, so many condos here in the Philippines, guys, actually come with great amenities like swimming pools, gyms, and 24/7 security, which you can actually use without the responsibility of upkeep. And also, condos here often provide services like garbage disposal and maintenance, which can add up to your convenience to your living situation. Now, on the other hand, when should you really think about buying? Okay, so everybody, you have to listen to this. First of all, be clear on your budget and what exactly that you are looking for. Because you know what? There's actually a common misconception here in the Philippines that Philippines is cheap. You know, it's a dirt cheap country. But that's not always the case, unfortunately. Especially in prime areas like Manila and Cebu City. So guys, you have to remind yourself that buying a condo here means committing to a new chapter of your life. Because it's not just about the cost. That also means you are also paying for the things like scarcity, your convenience, and then your safety, of course. Like VGC, for instance, it actually offers a top-notch amenities and a secure environment, which are a very big selling points for many retirees and long-term expats. And you know what? Also, buying condo here in the Philippines actually offers numerous benefits, including the potential for long-term investment growth, personal freedom, and a sense of stability. However, it also comes with a significant financial commitments and responsibilities. Whether buying is the right choice depends on your personal circumstances, financial situation, and your long-term plans. So it's really essential for you guys to really weigh these pros and cons carefully to, make the best decisions for your lifestyle and your future plans here in the Philippines. So now let's talk about the pros of buying a condo here in the Philippines. First one on the list is that building equity and long-term investment. Its property values, especially in prime areas like Metro Manila, Cebu, and Davao, they actually tend to increase over time and they can potentially offer a good return on investment. Next one is stability and a sense of home. Actually, owning a condo provides a stable, long-term living solution, which is very crucial for those who are planning to retire or settle down here in the Philippines. So basically, owning your home can really foster a deeper sense of belonging and community engagement, which, it will definitely make it easier for you to really establish a long-lasting relationship. The next one is freedom to personalize and renovate. Alright, so obviously as an owner, you can actually modify your condo to reflect your own style and your own preferences without really needing to ask the landlord's approval. And then you have the liberty to make upgrades and improvements that can really enhance your living experience and, can potentially increase your property value. Next one is potential rental income. Alright, so if you do not live in the condo full time, then you can actually rent it out to generate passive income, especially in high demand areas. Cities like Manila and Cebu are actually popular with expats, business travelers, and tourists, which often translate to a very lucrative rental opportunities. And of course, as someone who lives in Cebu myself, I can definitely attest to this. So next is protection against rising rents. Alright, so with a mortgage, your monthly payments are often stable and predictable, safeguarding you against rent increases. So over time, everyone, owning can be more cost-effective than renting because eventually you will eliminate housing payments after the mortgage is paid off. Next one is strategic long-term residence. Alright, so owning a property can be part of a retirement strategy, and that will definitely provide you a secure and a stable home base. And also, it's a forward-thinking choice for those who are planning to have an extended stays here or seeking a permanent residence here in the Philippines. But again, as what I've said, that if there are pros, then there are also cons as well. So here are some of the cons of buying a condo here in the Philippines. First one on the list is a large down payment. Buying a condo here in the Philippines actually requires a substantial upfront payment, typically around 20% of the property's value. And the costs such as taxes, insurance, maintenance, and legal fees can actually add up to that, making the initial investment significant. Next one is less flexibility. Alright, so owning a property actually ties you to a location, making it harder for you to really move compared to just only renting, right? Especially if you decide that that area or that place actually no longer suits you. And also, buying a property values can fluctuate, and if the market actually declines that, then you might find it really difficult for you to sell the condo without incurring a loss. The next one, guys, is maintenance and management responsibilities. Alright, so obviously, as an owner of that property, you are actually responsible for all the repairs and upkeep, which can be very costly and time-consuming for you. So the next one is complexity of buying process. So yes, you heard it right. Because navigating the buying process here in the Philippines can be really complex, especially for those foreigners out there who are very unfamiliar with local laws and regulations. Next one is potential for property devaluation. Economic downturns or changes in the area where you purchase the place can actually reduce the value of your property, and that will definitely affect your investment. Like older buildings, it might really require a significant repairs or renovations, and that will definitely impact your resale value and increasing the maintenance cost. So the last one is foreign ownership restrictions. So guys, this one is really, really, really important for you to know because foreigners in the Philippines can only own condos up to 40% of a building's total units. And that is limiting your options and actually complicating the whole buying process. So yes, ensuring a clean title and legal ownership can be very challenging for you all because it will really require a thorough due diligence and possibly legal assistance. Buying and investing into a condominium is still a trend here in the Philippines because Southeast Asia and the Philippines in particular is actually a growing market, or Philippines is still a developing country. To sum up everything, you can only rent if you are new to the Philippines and you spend at least 6 months to a year exploring different areas or city of the Philippines. And also, you can rent if you want flexibility and mobility. And of course, you can rent if you don't have a huge upfront investment yet. So now let's talk about when to buy a property here. Okay, first, you can only buy if you are familiar with a specific location and plan to stay long-term or retire here in the Philippines. And of course, if you have the capital to afford the condo, including the transfer fees and potential appreciation. And also, you can buy a condo here in the Philippines if you value stability and the feeling of owning your own place. Well, in the end, guys, whether you decide to rent or buy should really depend on your personal situations and what exactly that you are looking for in your new home here in the Philippines. So if you need more guidance or someone to help you out with your move, then you can reach out to me or leave a question in the comment section down below for the things that you would like to know more about the Philippines, about renting or buying a property here in the Philippines. Then I would love to read and respond to each of your comments. So that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this video really helps you to make the best decision for your move here in the Philippines. See you to my next video. Bye!